So, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing great. I'm Swastika Katwari and I'm from Delhi. And just like I said, Delhi's heat is heating up. Today's session is going to bring up the heat more. Now, I don't know what you're doing up in your summer. Like a lot of you said that you're interning, or you just or the summer vacations has just started, or you're just binge watching a lot of movies. But here's something more interesting: Amazon ML Summer School. That's the kind of summer story people would remember. So today we're here to talk about one of the most coveted, buzzed about, and career boosting programs for students passionate about AI and ML, the one and only Amazon Machine Learning Summer School. I welcome all of you to this session. Now, whether you've been here because of following LinkedIn posts with the hashtag MLSS, or because someone told you that Amazon gives free courses, well, you're in the right place. Now, I was told that ML Summer School exists. So I remember seeing the ML School Summer School banner for the first time. And I remember thinking that is this just another fancy online course or something? Or is it something bigger? And then I saw the alumni and I saw them winning at every field. And that means this course is a worth lot of knowledge. Now, that is when the curiosity bug bit me. And today I'm here as a host, yes, but also as someone who is genuinely very interested about this and wants to crack the whole code about this with all of you guys. Because let's face it, ML can be intimidating. Now, Python is fine. Python is one of my favorite subjects. But when someone says gradient descent, yeah, my mind state goes to my GPA. But don't worry, today's speaker is here to make things less confusing, more inspiring, and a whole lot more real. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Anushka Srivastav, a name that you're going to remember for a really long time. Hi, Anushka.
Hi,
Let's take a
Swastika. Thank you for having me there.
let's just take a moment to absorb her journey. She's currently a software engineering intern at Microsoft. Microsoft, guys. A proud Amazon ML Summer School 2024 mentee, AWS AI and ML Scholar, JPMC Code for Good 2024 winner, and still a student at Triple IT Delhi. She's just going to classes, solving industry level ML problems in her free time, totally casual, totally chill. And here's the thing, it's not just the logos that are impressive, it's how she's done it. She's been a teaching assistant for both programming and algorithms, which means she not only knows the stuff, but she also knows how to explain it to people like us. People like me who every 2 days ask the same question, ki, what is time complexity? So she's also worked on research at Midas Lab. She's contributed as community contributor at Ushahidi, led event teams at Women in Tech Triple IT, and even dabbled in dev operations and app development and community growth. You know how people say jack of all trades? Well, Anushka's resume says, why not queen of all trades? But perhaps what I love most is that how curious and purpose driven she is. She doesn't just chase titles, she chases meaning, whether it's helping students, communities, or just being that one person in the room who lifts others up. And as we can see here that she's here today to enlighten all of us, that is one of us rare opportunities that we all have got. Today, she's going to break down on what ML Summer School is all about, who can apply, what you can learn inside the program, and how it helped her shape her career path. If you've ever asked, will this certificate actually help me? You'll get your answers. Please feel free to drop all your questions in the chat and we'll take them up later on. And let's keep the chat full of energy because you never know what opportunity a simple message may give you. So let's get started. Anushka, thank you so much for coming. We welcome you here.
Hi, thank you, Swastika, for having me here. So I was reading everyone's introduction in the chat, so I will just, as Swastika already introduced me a lot, so I will just give a brief introduction. Like, hi, I just completed my third year at Triple IT Delhi. I'm from Delhi, currently based in Hyderabad for my software engineering internship. So now let's get straight to the point about Amazon ML Summer School. So how I got to know about this, I saw a LinkedIn post, obviously, and like all of you, I was also actively looking out for opportunities last year. So I was like, why not apply for this one? Let's try out for this one. And I just went on and applied for this. So since I was already an AWS AI and ML scholar, I already had some ML background. So the selection process was not like a very tough process for me. But then I understand many of you must be new to ML. So let's break down step by step how you can go from zero to like how you can crack it. So first, I will start by telling what actually happens in MS Summer School and what all things you'll be experiencing over there. So for eligibility, I think someone was asking about eligibility. So if you are a third or fourth year student, then you are eligible for Amazon ML Summer School. So basically, these are mentorship sessions by Amazon MLS experts. Like all of them are working at Amazon at pretty good positions. And the structure of the program is like completely like a summer school. Like in summer break, over the weekends, their classes held from morning to afternoon. So total there are 8 classes, 4 weekends. So it's a month-long program, and all of these 8 classes covers 8 unique topics, and these are major ML topics like supervised learning, dimensionality reduction, neural networks, generative AI, which just came out a few years ago. So the course is very much updated, and the classes start in the morning and they go until the afternoon. Now these classes are like divided into two parts. So the first part is just pre-recorded lectures. So these lectures are pre-recorded by scientists working at Amazon, explaining these concepts like from scratch. They'll tell you everything you need to know, and you do not need to have any prerequisites for these. Like you should not feel like, okay, I have not studied this before, so am I even eligible for this program? Am I even fit for this program? What am I find this stuff? No, they explain you everything from beginning. So it's really a good stepping stone for you to step into the field of machine learning. And for this, then you get a 2 3 hour break, and then there's a 3 hour Q&A session where you can directly interact with with experts at Amazon in a webinar type format, and you can ask them question in a Q&A box you get. So there you can directly ask your doubts and your questions, and they will answer each and every one of them, which I think is a really good opportunity because you get a chance to directly connect with these leaders. So yeah, these were like about the 8 sessions, and yeah, that's it for the Amazon MSM schools. Now let's see how we can get selected for these. So for getting selected to Amazon Summer School, there are basically just two processes. One is application, and pretty much everyone gets shortlisted for the next round, which is the OA round. So basically, in the OA round, you get 75 minutes, which is like 1 hour 15 minutes, and the entire test is divided into three parts. So in the first part, okay, so there are three parts. First part is like programming and DSA based questions. So they are not very tough. If you are practicing lead code or HackerRank, then you can easily solve them. And if you're not, you can still start. It's basically easy to medium lead code questions, and you can easily then crack this part A, which is the coding part. I will suggest that you should pay attention to the time complexity, because when you look at the time complexity and you can guess, sorry, you should pay attention to the constraints. So if you look at the constraints, you can guess the time complexity of the solution. So suppose if it says the value of n is 1 to 10 to the power 3, so that means that your solution can accept n cube solution. So you can start thinking along those lines. So looking at the constraints can really help you form the solution to that particular problem. Then the second part is they ask you 8 questions about ML, and now that's not very deep ML. That's basic ML. So like I also had basic knowledge only. So they have asked basic ML concepts like regression, classification, or maybe common ML problems like Boston housing data set. So for that, I would suggest you should go through a simple ML cheat sheet or like a simple ML crash course. No need to go very deep into that. You can just like skim through the surface of the information, and you will be good to go for that. Then the next part is the maths part. So basically, there are 12 questions in that part, and they ask questions from topics like probability and statistics, linear algebra, anything that anything the any mathematical part that is related to machine learning. So again, these courses are normally covered in colleges also. If you if you have already done these courses, just practice a few basic questions like the questions that are there in linear algebra PLS, and you'll be good to go for this part. So basically, the gist of this entire thing is the selection round, the coding round is really easy. But then the main thing that comes here is the time management. You only have 75 minutes to solve 12 maths questions, to solve 2 programming questions, to solve 8 ML questions. You have to manage your time very efficiently for that. And the second thing is accuracy. Like if you are trying to solve it quickly, then you have to make sure you do not make silly mistakes. Even one wrong question can cost you a lot, like someone else can take your position. So I would suggest be be fast and be accurate, and then you're good to go, and you are sure to get selected for Amazon ML Summer School. It's that easy, trust me. Then we went over to the selection process. And now for the exciting part. The exciting part is like the goodies you get. Amazon also gives out goodies for all the Amazon MS Summer Schools people who get selected. But you are only eligible for this if you attend all these classes they have. So make sure to attend all these classes if you get selected. And trust me, it's worth it. You get to learn a lot from people actually working in this field for so many years. So it's like a really good experience. And one more thing that is very useful for you is like this opportunity is also a gateway to career opportunities to Amazon. So after this session, after the MS Summer School ends, Amazon will share recorded lectures with you for a specific period of time, like for 1 month, and you get to study them, and you get an application link. If you're a third year student, you get an application link for applied research scientist intern, and if you are an final year student, you'll get it for applied research scientist. And if you're interested, you can fill those forms, and then there's the selection process where again they ask DSA and ML, but this time they ask more harder questions for ML. So make sure to listen carefully whatever is being taught there. So then yeah, there are further selection process and interview process. Yeah, so for preparation tips, I would recommend so what are the things for DSA for part A? Again, easy to medium lead code questions. For ML, practice basic ML or Python related questions from platform like GFGs or HackerRank or Interview Bits and all. And for the maths question, just revise the college classes and college lectures. And if your college has not done it, then there are multiple lectures from Harvard and MIT available on YouTube for PNS and linear algebra. So yeah, that's it from my side on Amazon MS Summer School, and I'm open to any Q&As if you guys have. If you don't want to turn on your mic, you can drop them in the chat. I'll go through them and answer. For timeline of application, I will suggest you keep an eye out on LinkedIn and the Mercer page, so and Telegram pages. Then you can apply for that. Which dataset in ML? I'll type it down in the chat first. I remember a question from this. They asked something related to it. I can. No, I don't think you'll be eligible. It's for third and fourth year only, because then they'll send out links for internship and full-time opportunities at Amazon. But you can try out next year also. I submitted a little bit early, like maybe 65 to 70 minutes, but it was very tight time limit. So repeat about the entire thing. So I will tell you briefly.
Anushka, this recording would be posted after 1 week on YouTube. So those who have missed, they can watch it from there, but no need to repeat the entire. But if you want to brief in 10 to 20 seconds, then we can go.
I'll brief in mostly about the selection, the coding round only. Like there are three parts. First part will be the coding programming part, which is normally tricky for people. But if you have practice questions, then that will be fine. The second part will be ML section. They ask basic ML questions, go through a cheat sheet or a crash course. The third part is MATS questions about PNS, linear algebra. So that's basically whatever you have learned in your college. What if you're unable to solve some questions? I mean, it's pretty competitive. So if you solve all the questions, then that increases your chance of being selected. But if you're not able to solve some question, then that would make it hard to get selected, I think. I, it's an online test. Can you please send the questions you got last year? I don't remember them exactly, but I remember that I submitted a NCube solution uh, by looking at the constraints, obviously, and the coding questions are pretty easy. And for I only remember the topics which I already talked about. So the DSA questions include advanced DSA topics like graphs, DP. No, focus mainly on arrays, stacks, queues, strings, topics like these. They usually don't have graphs and DP at this stage, especially if you are in third year. Once the application opens, after how much time we have the tests? And as soon as the application closes, you get the test link within a few days, and you okay on that day you have many slots on that day. You have slot A, B, C, D. So all of you are not giving tests on that exact same time. You have to give them slot wise, and your questions also depend slot wise. Every slot has different questions. So some of you can get easy questions, some of you can get difficult questions, and now that part just depends on your luck now. Is the time divided section wise too? No, you can choose which section you start first. What are the major topics for DSA? Again, arrays, tags, strings, queues, stuff like that. Did you give tips to build a career in AI ML? So basically, first thing you should have proper knowledge of machine learning. You should have good projects in machine learning, and not some basic projects like image classification and all. You should have some innovative project that could make your resume stand out whenever you apply in AIML job openings. And then again that's the interview depends on your interviews then. Machine learning question example. They can give you a Python code snippet and ask you like what is this code exactly doing. They can give you a data set like how can you work with the data set, questions like that. I think I have a LinkedIn post of past year ML questions. I can share it with maybe the team and they can forward it to you guys. I think yeah, I'll share it. I'll have to look for them. Yeah. Does questions change according to the year we are in? Yes, if you are in third year or if you are in fourth year, you will get different questions. The level of the questions will be different. Can you suggest a cheat sheet or video for the ML question? For video, I normally recommend Andrew NG, but then again, that's in too much detail. So, you'll not be able to do all that stuff right before the exam. So, I would suggest a cheat sheet. You can type ML cheat sheet on Google and just pick out the top two, three, which are the most popular ones. Any idea how many? Try to do as many correct questions as possible because again, it's relative. As I said, if even if you get one question wrong, then that reduces the chances of selection. So I would say do your best and try to get as many correct as possible because you'll realize as you give more and more online assessments, each and every mistake can be very costly. Each and every test case you miss during coding that can be very costly. That can affect your chances of selection. So just try to be as accurate as possible. Could you please tell your role in Microsoft internship? It's a software engineering intern role. I cannot go into much details into my project, but it's again an LP based project I am working on. Is it preferred to code in Python? You can code in anything. Uh, it doesn't matter. They don't have a preference. It's not like if you code in Python that will increase the chance of selection. You can code in anything. Does fourth years have graphs and trees? I don't think so. I haven't given the fourth year one, but I don't think they have graphs and trees. It's normally easy to medium level lead code questions, and even if they have graphs and trees, they will have basic questions only. Bootcamp in July. Since I'm registered halfway, can you please confirm the test? Okay. The test will be conducted this year because it's Amazon conducts it every year. And if yes, when can we expect the official? I have no idea about it. That depends on when Amazon opens the application. How much correct questions were you able to do? I ended up, I solved both the DSA questions correctly, and that is the most important part because DSA is the part where many people lag behind. So if you do DSA questions correctly, then even if you get majority of the maths and ML questions, you'll be able to go forward. So I would suggest first you for time management. I would suggest for like whatever your strength is. My strength was doing maths and ML first, so I completed that first, and in the remaining time, I completed the DSA questions. The three roles that companies work on ML as well. If I only have projects on ML, I work on ML as well. If I have only projects on ML and generative AI. I mean, it depends on the projects they give you. They can give you ML projects. They might not give you ML projects. And if you have only projects on ML and generative AI, again it depends on the roles you apply. If you're applying on software engineering role, then the interviews they will definitely ask you about ML and generative AI. But it's not necessary that the project you work on there will also be based upon that. So whatever you add in your resume, they will ask you everything about that in your interview. Could you give some ML project idea? So I can tell about the projects I added or I worked on. So one of them was end-to-end deployment of a scone. Scone is some of a deployment of a website. Like there's some cycles and it's for basically for delivery based app. So basically identifying if the delivery person is on a cycle or bicycle, it was redirecting them to different routes. It was again a part of my AWS AI and ML scholarship. And the second project that I added in my resume was like if I add an image of a tourist site and then my model will predict the top five places that particular tourist site could be with their confidence score. So if I add a Taj Mahal, it will say like, okay, I'm 50% sure that this is Taj Mahal. I'm 20% sure that this is India Gate, something like that. So basically, and then another project ideas, uh, you could like there are many projects you could look on internet. I just talked about the projects I added in my resume. But if you are looking specifically for ML roles, then I would suggest do not go for basic ML projects. You have to think out something out of the box. Will the syllabus for the answer be same as last year or the syllabus will be same as far as I know. They keep it same every year. I haven't heard of any other major updates or new topics that have been added this time. Is everything clear? I hope I cleared everything.
I had a question. You worked at both Microsoft and at Amazon. So, what were the variations in the working environment or in the learning process?
Okay, so I didn't actually work in Amazon. It was like a session I just attended and learned everything. So I can tell about the working environment in Microsoft. Like it seems like you are an intern. It's a big company. Your life will be chill, but in reality, you have to work really hard to keep your place. You have to work really hard to keep up with everyone. So yeah, it's very challenging overall. Like corporate life, that becomes very challenging when you actually step into that. And then there's a lot of things you have to learn. There's a like you can be like, okay, I know everything, and then you go in the actual corporate space and suddenly you don't know anything. You get limited time. You like get 1 week and you have to learn this tech stack, you have to learn this tech stack, you have to learn this technology. So it's very hectic and it's very challenging.
And one more question. Uh, what was your initial starting position? Like when you were at your first year, what was your technical background back then, and how did you grow it to this?
Okay, so basically when I was in first year, I'd already done CS courses in class 12. in class 11, 12. Like I have been doing computer science since like class 3rd, 4th. So I had pretty much background about with Python and HTML, CSS. So in the first year, when I came into college, I had everything, like I knew the syntax and stuff. Then second semester, I had DSA. So again, I was introduced to algorithms, like how do you solve a problem with this algorithm, with this time complexity? How do you optimize it? So basically, I'm that person like who prefers DSA over development because algorithms is something mathematical and that interests me a lot. That makes me very curious about everything. So and then as you asked, like how did I grow it up till here? I basically joined a lot of boot camps. Like in the first year summer break, I joined a mobile development boot camp. I joined a DevOps boot camp. Then in my college course is also structured that way that I got to work with LLMs. I got to work with game development. So basically, whatever I choose, I just gave my 100%, and just brought my skills up from like maybe 10, 20 to like 60, 70.
It's pretty inspiring.
I think someone asked if students who perform well in MLSs get considered for internship or placement opportunities at Amazon. So basically, everyone who gets selected in MLSs, everyone gets a link to apply at internship or placement opportunities, but that doesn't guarantee an interview. You have to then again give a coding test for that, again clear it, and again go through the interview process. So again, it's a complete hiring process, but then you get directly considered for that position because of which you got the link in your inbox.
Anushka, I would like to ask something. As you're a part of Amazon ML Summer School, additionally, you are also AWS AI and ML scholar. So, what's the difference between these two? And maybe we can also apply for AWS AI and ML scholar program.
Yeah, so AWS AI and ML scholarship program was basically that AWS was sponsoring my Udacity courses. There were two courses on Udacity that I got to be a part of, and you know the courses on Udacity are normally very expensive. So basically, AWS sponsored my entire thing, and then again I got access to very high quality pre-recorded lectures and got access to like resources so that I can work on projects. Like I got access to SageMaker, AWS SageMaker. I could work with cloud resources, and everything was sponsored by AWS. And Amazon ML Summer Schools. They both are pretty much the same. In both of them, you get you get experience for ML. And for applying for AWS AI and ML scholarship, so yeah, you can apply for them. They basically open applications 2 times in a year. They have two cohorts. One is winter cohort and one is summer cohort. I think the application of summer cohort has already ended, but you all can look out for the winter cohort. And in that also there are 3 stages. The first stage is completing all the lessons they have given you. They give you pre-recorded lectures about basics of ML, and you have to go through them. The second is a quiz that you have to give, in which in 30 questions you have to answer at least 25 of them correctly. And the third is again a gamified experience where there's a leaderboard, and you have to write a Python script to program a self-driving car so that it can, you know, be on the track while doing the races. And then if you like pass a certain threshold, then you get selected for the AWS AI and ML scholarship. And then that's again a huge community. I think the difference will be of the community. In Amazon ML Summer School, there was no community made, so you're not actually interacting with anyone except the ML experts at Amazon. But then in AWS AIML, it was like a 3 month, 4 month long program, self-paced program, and you can interact with other people, take their help, talk to them, get to know them, connect with so many people from all over the world.
Amazing. So, the community, which platform they uses to interact? Discord, Slack, or like Open Forum?
They had their own platform. In the first round, I think they had Slack, and the second they had their own platform. Like I think it was named Circle.
Amazing. And as you're an intern at Microsoft, so currently on which projects and tech stack you're working? Like because in college we think okay these are the things, which we need so that we can become an intern at Microsoft. But when we become the intern or like got the job at Microsoft, then we need to work on their products, okay, their tech stack. So in real life, in corporate, what are the tech stacks that they demand from us, and on what projects you're working? If you're allowed to share, then we would love to know.
Yeah, I can share some of it. Like now, your tech stack depends from team to team. Like for my project, it is an NLP based project. So everything I learned over the past 1 year somehow ended up coming in of use to me in my project. And tech stack is basically Python and Golang. Like everyone can have different tech stacks. Someone has C sharp, someone has Golang. So again, it depends from team to team. Now, you obviously cannot learn everything, so then you have to use that chance to come here on an internship and then learn things, because obviously you cannot learn every single language in existence. Some teams will be working with Rust, some teams will be working with again maybe C++, Java. So again, you have to adapt to whatever is being given to you.
Nice. And they assign us the team, or we are allowed to choose our tech stack and team and projects?
No, everything is assigned to you. You are not allowed to choose anything. At least for internship, maybe for full stack, full time, I don't know. But for internship, everything is assigned to you.
Okay, amazing. And what, as you're currently interning at Microsoft, so what are your future plans? You want to continue with Microsoft if you get PPO, or you want to get into any other companies, or have or want to do like masters and all?
I mean, I would love to obviously continue with Microsoft, but I will also be actively looking out for other opportunities. And masters, like not as of now, but maybe in a few years, like maybe in after 3 or 4 years, with some work experience.
Okay, nice. And as you have already experienced with Amazon programs and JPMC, because you are the winner of JPMC Code for Good, right?
So I was not a winner. I was semi-finalist. Like I got to attend the hackathon in Mumbai, which was like the final round.
Okay, so suppose you got the experience at Microsoft, and by God grace, you got the PPO. Congratulations in advance. Okay, suppose you want to transition to Amazon or JPMC after a few years. So you think these programs would really help you to transition in addition with your experience at a very big company like Microsoft?
I think the experience will help me more, because these programs will be more helpful if I apply on an undergrad level, like for an intern level. But for full time, obviously hackathon, it will just show that okay, I can work as a team, I can work under pressure. And then Amazon ML Samukh, it will show that okay, I have a background in ML, AI, ML, so that might help me in shortlisting. But then in the interview, I have to do what I actually have worked on, what I have actually done. So my experience at big tech will help me more rather than any summer school I have attended.
Amazing.
So
Thank you so much, Anushka,
experience matters more. Yeah.
for answering my queries. Yeah, Swastika, please.
Do we have any other questions from the attendees?
I think there are two more questions.
Right. Okay, then. I request all of you to just switch on your cameras once so that we can have a good group picture.
So Dhairya is asking, I can do machine learning, but when it comes to make a deployment or like content code making service like fashion in one or the other front-end languages. If you are going into web development, then you should know front-end languages. But if you want your domain to be entirely machine learning, then it's okay if you don't know front-end languages. But you have to make sure that you are the best at machine learning. You know every algorithm. You know all the models, what kind of models are there, which will be better for which situation, what kind of pre-processing, what kind of feature extraction you have to do. You have to be the best if you don't want to do front end. Is doing masters still a good idea in today's tech scenario? And it's about preference, because if you do masters from, like suppose from US or UK, then obviously you'll have a lot of educational loan. Again, about the job scenario, you have to get a job as soon as possible. Again, it's about preference. If you are really interested in the field you are working on and you want to do masters, then you should go for it. But if you're just doing masters for the sake of like everyone is doing masters, I'll be left behind, then I don't think that's a good idea to do masters then. It's about preference.
Any last questions? If you want to ask, you can ask Anushka, and then we'll wrap up with the session. All right, we don't have any other questions. So I guess we'll wrap up. Thank you, Anushka.
Wait.
All
So
right.
the most important part actually means everyone, let's click a group picture as a ritual. So come on, if you
Right.
want to come in the frame. This is the moment to shine. Then we can post it on our LinkedIn and you can share your experience and you can post too. And don't forget to tag us and Anushka, our amazing speaker. So yes, those who want to come in the frame, please open, switch on your camera for at least 10 seconds. You can for at least 10 seconds, then we can have it. Else I and Swastika are the lucky one. Yeah. We can get the picture with Anushka. And Swastika, you muted my mic.
No, sorry, that was by accident. I'm really sorry.
Okay, no worries.
I was just scrolling through the participants list and I accidentally clicked on it.
Okay, nice. Thanks, Aditi. Now, actually, Aditi was a constant attendee of all our sessions, and yeah, I have this picture of Aditi's in my mind. So whenever if I attend any kind of meetup or event, I can recognize Aditi. Yeah, that is the benefit of switching on your camera. Okay, thank you so much, Dharya and Manviya. Now we can click a picture. So, Anushka, which hand gesture do you suggest for this meeting? Any kind of hand gesture that you want to suggest?
Do you all have a signature hand gesture?
Okay, sorry.
Do you all have a signature hand gesture that you do in every
No,
every
we don't have a signature hand gesture. We could do with anything, like any like thumbs ups and victory sign are very common. Something different.
It's no thumbs up, I think.
It is very common. Something different. If you want to suggest,
Something different.
yeah.
I can't think of anything. Like maybe any attendee could suggest something.
Okay, nice. Aditi, do you want to suggest? Okay, Dharya, do you want to suggest? No, hashtag. Neetu says hashtag. Yes, we can do this. Hashtag. Yeah, this we can do. Hashtag. Come on, Aditi, Dharya, and Manviya. We can click a picture. Okay. I need to click a picture. My hashtag is broken. Nice. Okay, thank you so much everyone for turning on the camera. Okay, now Dharya says, "Oh my God, I left behind." Okay, let's click a picture once again for Dharya. Okay, okay, once more. Manviya, please come in the frame. Yeah. And yeah, we can have it and we'll send the picture in the community. You can have it from there and can post from LinkedIn, and don't forget to tag Anushka. I've already shared Anushka's LinkedIn profile in the chat section. I'll share it again. Do send her connection request. This will increase the followers of Anushka. Oh, I'm just joking. Connections. Okay. And see you in our upcoming session. Our upcoming session would be on Google Women Techmaker Ambassadors. Do join that session. That would be amazing because our speaker is really amazing. And that program is really valuable for you because being a part of Google Women Techmaker communities is like a really honorable thing. And Anushka, maybe you can also try that because you have already been very active in college societies and are a part of many programs. So Google Women Tech Makers are ranging from college girls to like women's with 10, 20, 30 years of experience. They can apply for it. So I guess the application would open around June or July. I need to check, but we'll host a session on 20th. Do join that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you so much everyone, and Swastik, over to you.
That's it from my side as well. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Anushka, for the insightful session. And this is a session to remember. Thank you, everyone.